WINGFLEX just dropped a new product in their A320 Cube series, this time a panel that's especially useful for those of you who like to fly on VATSIM. And that's the A320 Radio Management Panel, or the RMP for short, with a little bit of a twist. Before we get started, please note that I got the product for free, but my goal is to give you an unbiased review of the product. So as usual, let's start with the box. You can expect to get the RMP, some legs, screws, a screwdriver, a USB cable, as well as some instructions. The setup is as simple as it gets, it's just 4 screws for the stand and a single USB cable to connect to your PC. On the software side, it's also very easy, just download their bridge software, it's a single exe file which you need to run whenever you want to use the panel. Now you should be able to launch your desired flight simulator and it should be good to go, and I'll get to compatibility in a little bit. But first, let's take a closer look at the panel itself. I'll start with the on-off switch, which has a nice locking mechanism preventing you from accidentally moving its position. Pulling the switch out slightly allows you to move it securely into its new position. Now you can see the panel come to life with all the backlighting and 2 displays showing your standby and active radio frequencies. Using the 2 stacked knobs, you can select the specific radio frequency you want to use and then transfer it to the active position using the transfer button in the middle. While this is hardly an issue, just know that you can't push any of the buttons on this without having to hold the panel down, as it's very light and will just move backwards otherwise. Now looking a bit below, we can see a variety of different buttons, starting with your radio communication selection keys, allowing you to tune different frequencies on other VHF and HF radios. Also notice how the cell indicator light comes on whenever you select another radio apart from VHF1. Next up, we've got the ability to manually select navigation aids from the RMP by pressing the nav button. Unlike how I believe it is in the real airplane, there isn't a guard over this button preventing accidental presses. This could be due to the form factor of the device, as WINGFLEX's Cube series is designed to be compact. Anyway, once nav mode is enabled, you can use the navigation selection keys to tune specific nav aids. When VOR or LS is selected, you can use the standby window to choose a specific course and temporarily transfer the active frequency to the standby box to tune the desired nav aid's frequency. You also have buttons for the GLS if it's installed, as well as an ADF and a BFO button, allowing you to listen to the audio identification of the frequency tuned in the ADF. The last normal thing on this panel is the load button, which allows you to load frequencies sent by the CPDLC into the standby window. Now here's where this panel becomes more than just an RMP. You may have noticed this extra ATC button, which allows you to use the panel as a mini transponder. When the ATC function is enabled, the active window changes to your squawk code. You can then use the BFO button as a clear button, and then use the buttons with green lights above them as the numpad, except for ATC and BFO of course. Pressing down on the frequency selector knob will press the ident button, and when you're done, you can close the transponder function by pressing ATC again. Looking to the right of the RMP, we can find some extra knobs from the transponder, one being the mode selector with standby, auto, and on, and the other being the TCAS mode selector with standby, TA, and TA-RA. The only issue with these knobs is that the covers come off quite easily. Lastly, you may have noticed these 2 lights, including the ATC message and auto land light, which are located on the glare wing in real life. If you're wondering why they only chose those 2 lights, it's because the other 3 lights and chrono button from the glare wing are already present on their EFIS Cube panel. Now regarding compatibility, I couldn't find any information on their website for this specific product, but since it's part of the series with the FCU Cube, I would imagine that they aim to make it compatible with the same aircraft. However, I did my own personal testing using a few airplanes in X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you can see the results on screen now. But I recommend directly reaching out to WINGFLEX if you have any doubts before purchasing. I hope you found this review helpful and interesting. If so, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer.